I enjoyed that comfortable fear. Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's known, and welcome back to the second report for Deliriant Week. This report is coming from Wagwangel off Irrawood. When this happened, 2018, the drugs used were Dramamine, alcohol, and cannabis, at a dose of 400 milligrams, the route of administration, orally, gender, female, weight, 130 pounds, age, 17, and the setting is at a party. So in this report, Wagwangel decides to trip off the Deliriant Dramamine the first time in a party setting, mixing it with two common substances of alcohol and cannabis. The user does experience some delirious themes and common physical effects, a big one being dehydration. But Wagwangel, for the most part, had a positive outlook on the experience, which shows how much perception plays a role in a substance and experience. The potential physical hazards of this combination probably deserve more attention. But I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy this, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. Bought a bottle of 12 pills on eBay after being introduced to the world of Class Cs and having fun with codeine, Benadryl, etc. I had read quite a few trip reports before deciding to try it at a party that weekend. Most trip reports have left me wary to try them in that sort of environment, but I was confident I could handle it, especially since I tend to enjoy a bit of fear on drugs. So first I drank some vodka, although I was aware I shouldn't be drinking at the same time as taking Dramamine. Smoked a bit of weed, took 5 pills, smoked more. Half an hour later, I felt good. I basically just felt tipsy and stoned with some extra euphoria. I took 3 more at that point. I wanted to take as much as I could manage, although my initial plan was to take 10 in total, which would be 500 milligrams, as I was feeling slightly nauseous, probably due to the fact I'm bad at swallowing pills, so I set off my gag reflex a lot. Later in the night, I ate a bunch of food and afterwards felt fine. From there on in, my memory gets a bit hazy. At one point or another, I went and sat down in the living room and watched the reflection of the room in a mirror. Though it would have been impossible due to the angle of the mirror, I thought it was reflecting an image of the door next to me, but from the perspective of outside the room, and I thought I could see a monster, very Slender Man-esque, coming round a corner and making his way to the door beside me. At first I shrugged it off, but as I enjoy the slight fear these sort of delusions give me, I let myself get into it and started seeing him make some really jagged and disturbing movements as he made his way towards me. And of course, I thought he was coming to kill me. I stopped watching the mirror and went and sat down with some other friends. One friend took her phone out and started filming on front camera. She pointed the phone to everyone so that they were being filmed, and I got very confused as I struggled to make out who was being filmed. And as it pointed more towards me, instead of seeing myself, I saw some weird static, jagged-like shapes. I got up to go pee and to take more and was stumbling around. I got called into the spare bedroom by my friends and was very off balance and struggled to get on the bed. We all went downstairs again, and I was feeling pretty lethargic, but in a very contented way, which meant I didn't really care that I hadn't managed to take more. I still felt a bit nauseous anyways. I kept meaning to take more so that I would have taken 10 pills, which was the plan, but never got around to taking the last 2. We went downstairs, ate, and smoked a bunch, eating totally rid of any nausea. For what felt about 10 minutes, I had a very strong feeling of depersonalization, and my vision seemed to move backwards, like my eyes had moved backwards in my skull, because everything looked so far away. A friend asked what it was like. Once I began articulating the feeling, it faded a bit, and eventually faded completely. Then my throat began to get a bit sore, and I found it difficult to swallow, and I thought at the time that I needed to swallow every minute or so. I think I got a bit confused between swallowing and breathing or something, so I forced myself to swallow, which made my throat hurt more. Eventually, I realized it was okay. I couldn't swallow because I didn't need to swallow. I wasn't eating or drinking something. I went to bed eventually and thought I felt pretty much sober. In the morning when I was between waking up and snoozing, I kept having some strange dreams wherein I text my dad something, or I had gotten up and talked to some people. I'd wake up from these dreams believing that these things had happened, but not entirely, which was very confusing and an uncomfortable feeling. It's usually this space between consciousness and unconsciousness that the trippiest stuff happens to me on drugs, and I imagine that this stuff is what a high dose of Dramamine would have been like. It wasn't very pleasant. Having experienced around 400 milligrams, 600 milligrams seems like a reckless amount. I enjoyed that comfortable fear of sitting on a sofa with your friends, but also slightly thinking something's coming to kill you.